everybody, welcome to this week's Pleasure Explosion, episode 27. I'm Ashley Hobley, your hostess for this week. I'm joined by Dylan Blight.
What's up? Hi, hello, hiya.
And I'm also joined by Jack Cruz.
Plat plat.
Oh, Jesus God.
That was
aggressive.
that was a robust plat plat.
Guys, we're shorthanded this week, just the three of us.
Quality over quantity, Ash.
Yeah, I guess.
Half
That's
is
not
better
really
than
our
half.
aim, is it? We put out a lot. I don't know about the quality, but we do a lot of quantity.
We're a bit of that, aren't we? That's a good point.
Well, we know our quality's not so good, so we just make up for it and just spam the internet.
Yeah. No, you make a good point, Ash.
Go do what you got to do.
Nevertheless.
Yeah. Anything for views.
Oh, God.
Dylan, how's your week been?
It's alright, I suppose. It's just another week.
Another
It
week?
goes by. It's stuff, work, explosion. Nah,
Been getting enough sleep?
Nah. Watch my vlog.
Yeah. What about you, Jack? How's your week been?
Week's been week's been good. It's been like a fucking long week. Like started off the Monday, Tuesday I was out like regional for work, and that was like it's just a long day. It's been like 7-8 hours in the car kind of thing. And just like I got to like Wednesday, I'm like back like home or whatever, and I'm like, oh, fuck, it's only Wednesday. And then Thursday, Friday, and everything, and then footy. It's been a long week. I had the footy Friday night, which was disappointing, bit bittersweet. Obviously with the dogs losing, blah blah blah. And yesterday, just like full family day, which is good. I played 0 video games this week, which is disappointing, but that's what happens when you're an adult, apparently. And today was good. Went to the aquarium, which was good fun. Took the little guy. Pretty much everything was a big shark. So he's like, big shark, big shark. I'm like, that's a stingray. He's like, big shark. I'm like, all right, big shark. Works for me. And then watch the fight. So tune into Grandstand Gurus for our thoughts on that.
Good.
Plug.
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 Yeah. Plug. No, good, mate. What about you?
Yeah, just working all week. Yeah, pretty much.
Fun.
This is riveting content, but yeah.
I got a funny little anecdote from
Yeah.
watching the fight before, and this will probably lead us into one of the things we're going to speak about later. But I was sitting there and like old people, right? Like, you know, old people are great, but you know they're old, right? They're from a different generation.
Yeah.
And so I'm sitting there and well, I'm watching the fight up on the screen, and they've got this like old couple, and they're probably like 80s sitting behind me, and the old lady's like to the guy, she's like, oh, you know, where are they? You know, where's he from? And the guy's like, oh, he's from Ireland. And she's like, and where's he from? And the other one, she's like, he's from America. And I'm like, okay. She just wants to know what's going on. And anyway, the fight starts, and McGregor sort of starts the fight like well, and he's throwing a lot of punches, and Floyd Mayweather didn't really throw any offense in the first round. And I hear from behind me the old lady goes, yeah, that dark one hasn't thrown one punch. I'm like, oh, God. And she just continued to refer to him as the dark one for the next, 4 rounds that they were there. And
Maybe she's colorblind, and she can only...
It is funny that she says that, because it's like, you just said that literally a minute before she found out, like, the country of origin for both. So she could be like, the American one or the Ireland one.
Yeah.
Well, maybe she forgot which was which.
She was pretty switched on for like an old geezer.
She could have said the bald one.
She could have, but she didn't.
Old
She's like, the dark one. I'm like, the dark fellow. I'm like, okay, old lady.
It's like I was listening to I'm listening to this morning when I was playing some Vita in bed, and I was listening to, I don't know if the Meg Turney episode of the Game Over Gregor show, kind of funny, and that they talked about they like go to some shooting range or whatever, and like talking about how the people in there were like your typical like racist, like sexist, like dudes that own the shooting range and stuff. I was like, I honestly, I feel so uncomfortable whenever I'm in a place where there's like people saying weird comments. Like even if it's an old lady behind me, I'm like.
I had one of those moments last night, which I don't know whether I'll go into or not.
Was it a family related one?
Possibly.
Because they happen to me all the freaking time. Yeah. I had one happen my past week too.
Yeah. So. I mean, we can probably... we can... I don't know. We'll see. We'll see where the conversation takes us.
What do you want to go straight there now? This week I wanted to talk about some current events. We don't really get a chance. These are topics I don't think we'd stretch out for the whole hour that we aim to bring you every single week. But so I'm assuming you wanted to talk about something that was related to the events in Charlottesville, Jack.
I was more so the
Gay plebiscite. That's the other story that I wanted to discuss.
That's the one.
For anyone who doesn't know, Australia is having a plebiscite. I think it's
Plebiscite,
plebiscite. That's the correct term. So people can have their say on whether we should have same-sex marriage in Australia.
Yeah, there's basically for international listeners, it's basically a vote where we.
Except for the vote means nothing.
Yeah, except for the vote actually means fuck all.
Yeah. So. This is.
So, do you want me to explain what a plebiscite is?
Yeah, go ahead, Jack. It's pretty much a shit show, isn't it? So a plebiscite it's effectively it's a vote, but it's different to a referendum because a referendum is specifically
to fix something.
Yeah, is specifically something to do with the Constitution. So it's not something to do with the Constitution, even though marriage rights are, but they're not anymore because one of our dickheads.
John Howard did that thing.
Originally, we would have been fine, but they changed the laws after same-sex marriage started to gain traction.
Exactly right. So basically what it is this vote is everyone in the country votes basically yes or no on an issue, and then but the issue the thing with the plebiscite is it's not actually like, even if it comes back it's like 95% of the country voted yes, it still doesn't mean dick because the government still has to vote on it, which is what they should have fucking done in the first place. But they could easily all just vote no, and then they've wasted.
Would you like to
hundreds
fill
of
everyone
dollars.
in on how much money the government is spending to do something that doesn't mean jack shit?
Yeah.
Like 100. How much is it?
$120 million.
Dickheads. Fucking dickheads.
$120 million to basically a survey they should just do on Twitter. It means about
do a
as
Twitter
fucking
poll.
much.
Prime Minister should just do a Twitter poll, and that would be the end of it.
Oh fuck.
It means as much.
Retweet for no, heart for yes.
Yeah, but think about it. At the end of the day, because the plebiscite doesn't like hold any grounds to anything and it doesn't change anything, like they still have to, at the end of the day, 100% of Australia votes yes, wouldn't happen. But 100% of Australia votes yes, they still have to go away and they could all be like, well, fuck Australia, we'll just vote no anyway because we can do whatever we want. So do a fucking Twitter poll. It holds as much water. Like,
It's way cheaper.
Did we say what? Did we actually say what the plebiscite's for? Did we get to that?
yeah, same-sex marriage.
Yeah. So it's
Same-sex
for
marriage.
a vote for same-sex marriage.
Same-sex marriage in Australia.
So just to start off with, you're both pro same-sex marriage, I'm assuming.
Fucking oath.
The Explosion Network is 100%
For
for
same-sex.
same-sex
Yeah.
marriage.
None of my
So
business who
we're-
marries who. It's got nothing to do with me.
If we're making fun, if we're laughing and making fun of it, we're making fun of the plebiscite itself,
Yeah.
not the
Issue.
the actual issue.
Yeah, to be if that's unclear, but
When I say this is the stupidest fuck, I did a video on this. If whenever I say this is the stupidest fucking thing that I think has happened in so ages, I'm not saying that trying to get same-sex marriage is the stupidest fucking thing that's happened in ages. I'm saying this plebiscite is the stupidest fucking thing that I've seen happen in quite some time. I just don't understand how a bunch of people who get paid so much money to sit around and run a country can like sit in the room and go, that's a good idea.
And apparently it's not even legal. Like, they're not even supposed to have been able to do this.
no, it's still it's fucking baffling to me how like, and I just it's like we live in fucking 2017 for God's sake, and we're voting on people's fucking human rights for God's sake. It's just ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. We look like fucking idiots. Our government is too fucking shit scared, and because if they're afraid that if they make the decision themselves, then they might not get
They get
voted.
backlash of the hard right,
Yeah.
conservative types.
So they fucking shirk the responsibility and
Religious.
put a fucking vote out. The majority of Australians, I will lose all faith in humanity if this comes back as a no. And
Well, this is this is my biggest fear. Like, if this gets denied, I will honestly probably live in shame of Australia for quite some time. Like, undoubtedly.
Yeah.
not so
Like in the world.
yeah.
There's
Well,
no
we've-
way, like, I can't... Like, I know there's a lot of fucked up shit. We'll get to America later. Like, obviously, it's just like, you look over there at some shit that's happening there, and you're kind of like, I'm glad that shit's not happening here. But to an extent, there is stuff like that happening here. But it's like, I swear to, like, if next year, like, other countries start making it, it's like, because over the last couple of years, it's like Ireland and wherever else has been making it legal and stuff like that. And then there are always such big news stories, and Twitter goes crazy, Facebook goes crazy. It's like, good job, X country for da-da-da. And if we denied it, would be like, Australia.
Yeah.
Fucking homophobes.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, it's bad enough people look at our country as, like, you know, other than like the other people like, oh yeah, they, you know, Australians, you know, they knock about, they love a laugh, they're pretty easygoing, a little bit racist, a little bit homophobic.
Did you watch the Tim Minchin song?
No, what's that? No. Oh no, I haven't yet.
Okay, you should listen, because that's what it is. Like, he makes this whole pun, does the whole song about Australia. It's like, we're pretty good looking, we're pretty easygoing, but a little bit homophobic and racist.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, it's very disappointing.
Which is true. It's like on the outside.
I mean, it is. Like, there's a heap of fucking racists in this country, but I think there's a heap of racists in every country. So it's not like it's not just our country. It's the fucking world. So unfortunately, a large portion of the human race are fucking idiots, and that's just the way that it fucking goes. Unfortunately, we need a world war to.
No, we don't.
Natural selection.
No, we don't. No, we don't. I know the funniest thing about this to me is like the people say it's like so family dinner. I can't remember if it was for my brother's birthday or something else like more recently, but of course like it's brought up as a topic because it's such a big news story. The plebiscite thing, and it's like the number one argument I hear a lot, and this was happening in my family, and I've seen people pro-gay marriage having the same argument online, and I don't get it, which is like someone was making, even in my household, like, it's so stupid, like, it's like, I don't really care, but like, I'm just tempted not to vote because it's like, it's so stupid to do it, like, it's a waste of money. And there's people I've seen on Twitter who like, you know, rainbow flags, like obviously like pro, but they're like, just because this is such a stupid issue, stupid way to go about it, I'm just not going to vote.
Yeah, people are boycotting because
it. Yes. To which I say, yo, dumb as fucking shit. And if the reason it doesn't go through because you boycott it, fuck you. Honestly, fuck you. Like, you'll have no one else to blame.
It's like America and Trump, all the people who didn't vote.
Yeah, I'm not going to vote for Trump. It's like, yeah, it's stupid. I've been saying the last 10 minutes, I've been saying since it was announced, the plebiscite's fucking stupid. But if you don't go vote, just put up with the stupid system. Like, you've been dealt a shit hand.
Yeah.
Do it properly. Like, this is not a thing you can stand on the high ground, Obi-Wan Kenobi, like, you've got the high ground and swipe down at someone else. That was a really bad analogy, but you know, I like to try and do Star Wars ones. I like to do Star Wars ones when I can, you know, guys. Just to swing them in. But yeah, it's like, boycott it? Really? Like, doesn't make any sense to me. No.
I wish that the people that would vote no would boycott it. That's all that I need.
Yeah,
I said this to someone recently. There was a group of us, and everyone. We were all talking about like, oh, you know, and same conversation. What a fucking stupid thing that we're having to vote on people's fucking human rights. I don't understand how it's the government's fucking business who can get married and who can't. We're not governed by a church. We're governed by people and a government. But that's a whole another subject. But everyone was like, oh yeah, you know, of course we're gonna vote. And then there was a person in our group that, you know, everyone was just like, oh, and what about you? Because we know what. That they're that kind of sort of alternatively thinking person to
everyone else,
and this person didn't want to say what they were going to do. Like, you know, obviously if you were going to vote no, or you were going to vote yes, you would just say yes. If you weren't going to vote yes, there's no, like, otherwise there's no reason to not say it. It's obviously you're going to vote no or you're going to vote. And I said to that person, I'm like, if you're not going to vote yes, don't fucking vote. Like, if you want to protest it in fucking silence, and don't fucking put your vote down, because you're just fucking hurting people. If you don't want to say yes, don't fucking say yes. Don't worry about it, but don't fucking vote. Get your fucking little envelope, chuck it in the fucking fireplace.
It's so funny because you keep saying the exact same thing. I wish I'd hear more people say about it, which is that it's a human rights issue, not a. That's why the Tony Abbott quote pissed me off so much, and I talked about it in my vlog. Is that I wish I'd fucking brought it with me now. I forgot it. Where he's on about, he's like, it's a freedom. It's a freedom against speech. It's a freedom against religion, power, or like. I'm like, the fuck are you on about, you dumb fuck?
He's a dickhead.
Like,
he's a dead set dickhead.
To think that guy was once in charge of our country.
Oh, mate, he's
Oh
not
my God.
We've had some other fucking peanuts. We've had some
Like,
peanuts.
what are you on about?
Is it just me, or have the people over the last, like, decade been just the worst fucking leaders we've ever had?
I like Rad.
Yeah,
I
he was good.
don't know if he was good.
Look, as far as prime
he was
ministers
not.
can go.
He was not great, but he's definitely
came
been.
on
He's,
road.
Competent.
he's been
He
the
came on
best.
road.
He's been the best of the last. He's been the best of a bad bunch.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way. Yeah.
If I look back, if you're like, who's been the best since you've been alive, Dylan, like that you can remember, because I'm not going to remember like anyone from like my first 10 years of my life or something like that. It's Rudd. Easy.
Do you reckon Rudd better than Howard?
Yep. Definitely better than Howard. Howard's like half the reason we got this problem currently.
True.
Tracksuit wearing fucking dickhead.
That power walk, yeah. And that bowling
And
action.
that googly
I
he
don't
bowls.
like cricket. I don't like cricket, but he can't bowl for shit.
He's got a
either,
cracking
so
googly, old fucking Johnny boy.
straight at the ground.
Oh, God.
Bet you I could out bowl that fuck.
When did Howard come into?
Good question. To which I
Because
don't
he was
know
in
the
for a
answer.
fucking long time.
Yeah, I want to say 96, but I don't know
Sounds
for
about
certain.
right. Late 90s sounds about right.
Thank
so.
fucking God that
mid-nineties,
who was that other peanut that was running against him at one point?
Kim Beazley?
No, not Kim Beazley. Kim Beazley's Mark Latham.
Oh,
Fuck that
dear
guy.
God.
Fuck that guy. I'm so glad he was never our fucking prime minister. Fuck that asshole. Mark Latham, piece of shit.
Well, I mean, we have a lot of pieces of shit in Parliament currently.
That's
Just
kind
think
of
about it.
part of
There's
the
a
deal,
certain
isn't it?
lady that I'm not there's a certain lady I'm not quite a fan of.
If gingers weren't bad enough, I tell you what.
I don't like it.
Please explain.
Oh, God.
Please explain.
Please explain.
Talking about racist, do you want to say?
Yeah,
How
that
is
seems...
it? How is it that we have? I'm just on this. How is it that we don't have any fucking good politicians? Like none. Like they're all fucking idiots. At least the ones at the top and the well-known ones.
It's
Like I know
cause-
there's some good ones, like good ministers and stuff that get around and do some good stuff, but the ones that are up the top and in the higher positions, they're all fucking idiots.
It's because people keep voting the wrong things. Here's my advice for the next election, guys: vote Greens. Like, I'm not a big greenie, but just for the sake of look, we've kind of just had the exact same two parties going at it for so long. Use all vote them in, complain. They're a bunch of all wearing, suit wearing, very similar type personalities. Like, fuck it. Let's just have the Greens run the place for show. What's the worst that could happen?
The problem is they're all secret Kiwis and Englishmen.
Fucking don't care. Vote them in.
Oh dear.
I've been voting Greens the last two
Fucking
elections.
secret Kiwis. That's
my
Tom,
big- that's
secret
my-
Kiwi / Englishman. That's Tom, pretty much.
That's my big secret, guys. I've been voting Greens.
Oh, that's not too bad. I thought you were saying your big secret was you're a Kiwi, and then...
Yeah, my big secret's a Kiwi. Tom, we only need one. See ya.
Yeah. You're
We
out.
recast you as as Tasmanian. You're actually a New Zealander.
He can go back. And we don't have room for two British people either, so Tom can't replace because we got Kieran as well. So
So you guys don't see any anti-gay marriage, their point of view at all, or
nah.
No?
If you're anti-gay marriage, I don't want to hear anything about you, and I don't care about you. You can get out of my life.
One of the funniest sort of quotes I've heard is from Joe Rogan. I'm a massive fan of. He said he's like, if you're against gay marriage, you're either fucking stupid or you're secretly afraid that dicks are delicious. No, I don't. I mean, I don't. No, I can't even. Not even from a religious. And I try and be really tolerant of other people's views and religion and stuff like that and beliefs and things. But I just don't think that it's anyone's right. Because marriage isn't has got nothing to do in this country. Marriage has got nothing to do with the church. You can get married outside of a church.
If you're not religious, marriage basically means a lot. Like sweet fuck all.
Yeah.
Just to boil it down, marriage in itself, unless you're religious, it's not really that big. It is more or less you get your name signed together, blah blah blah. Like it's just a legal proceeding. If you're not.
So I'm not married, right? But I have all of the rights and everything of a married couple. All you have to do is live together for 4 months, and you get that.
Yep.
So that's the other fucking stupid thing about this is that all of the gay lesbian people in this country who are living together and in long-term relationships are like they already have the rights, the exact same rights of a married couple. So what the fuck is the point of not letting them get married?
There was that story. I think it was last year. There was that story of like a couple. I can't remember if it was guy or like a guy couple, girl couple. They got married over in America or something like that, and they like came back here and like they went to buy a house or something. I can't remember, but like because it's not recognized, Australia's just like nah. Like I know you got married somewhere else, but we just don't accept that. It's not that is void here.
Yeah,
I know it happened.
Yeah,
I see you've got a piece of paper that says it happened. But it didn't happen in our country, so it doesn't count for shit.
But we love each other. Sorry, guys, can't fucking let you do it. So yeah, no, I don't see it. I don't. I find it completely unreasonable and unfair. Although I did, and this is an anecdotal story that I heard over the weekend about a gay couple that were like. One of the gay couple, two guys, obviously in a relationship. And one of them was like, he's like, "Fuck, I hope it doesn't get passed because that means I'm gonna have to get married."
Yeah, I remember the old
like,
Chris
commit.
Rock joke. Gay people deserve to be as unhappy as all us married people.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I have like the people like gay couples I know, or like the gay single dude on Facebook was like one of my friends from school's just like, guys, just make sure you register to vote, if not for anyone, but for me. And then like someone else I know who's like been in a relationship for like 12, 15 years or something like that. It's like, if you ever want to come to my bachelor party, it'll be a gay old time. You better vote right. Like trying to like play it off as this like funny thing. But I know for a fact that like, I don't know because I know him. I don't know his partner that well, but I'm like, I know like it actually annoys him, but he kind of like plays it off. He has been for years until he's like antsy as to get fucking married, but he just kind of like plays it off as like, it's not a big deal. Yeah. Married would be great. And it's like, I'm sad for you. Sorry.
I think the solution is we just come up with a new word for married, and then it'll.
Why does it fucking matter? That's what I'm saying. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Just the
they're just fighting over the definition of one word. It's
the
stupid.
definition of it is like all to do with the like religious, specifically like the religious viewpoint on it. Anyway, marriage was defined as between a guy and a man, guy and a woman. Why? Because that's what the Bible says. Like that's the part they leave off. So I mean, it all comes from there, even if you don't want to say it. And I'm not saying that all religious people are against it, because it's not. Like I saw a good poster of it, like this person in a rally in Melbourne or something the other day. I saw on Facebook like holding up this sign that said like, married Christian dad with a son, and I'm all for gay marriage or something like that. And I was like, oh, that's cool. That's nice to see. But it's just like, I mean, that's where it does come from, this whole like the definition. The definition wasn't made up randomly. The definition of marriage came from religious points of view. So,
So if it does go through, do you guys reckon they'd have to let people get married in churches and stuff if they didn't, even if the church is against it? Or
fuck them.
Yeah, fuck 'em. I don't know about that. And that's the thing. Like,
and they always bring up the bakeries that don't want to.
Why? There's religious gay couples. So
yeah. I mean, I guess I would leave it to the. Yeah, no, I mean that one I'm not like, if people like you're allowed to get married, great, but I think it like a church can still say.
I reckon a lot of churches, if it was legal, I bet you a bunch of churches would. There'd be a bunch of churches that would be against it, and there'd be a bunch of churches that'd be like, "Come on!"
But that's when it's like, okay, like they now have the right to legally be married, and then it goes a bit too far the other way. It's like, but now you have to let them get married in your church, even if it's something that they like believe strongly against. I don't know that I would like. I don't know that I don't know that a lot of maybe a gay couple. I can't speak.
I don't know the laws for church.
Yeah. But I mean, I would say that it's their right to say no. But that's a different issue, I think, to whether the people are allowed to get married. Absolutely, they're allowed to get married, but you can still be a marriage celebrant and turn down a couple. Be like, I don't connect
Can
with you
you?
guys. Yeah, absolutely. You can.
Okay, then I suppose
Because you have to meet them, you have to like make sure you're comfortable with them comfortable with you, and they might go, look, I'm not comfortable with doing your thing. I don't like you as people or whatever. It can be, no, it's just a reality of like that thing that can happen. So I don't see how church could be any different. If it's a different subject though to the right to be married.
Fair enough.
Cool. So, on to our next story. You might remember about 5 weeks ago, my last topic was things that you can't believe are still a thing.
Oh,
if I had had more time to think, I would have said Nazis, but apparently Nazis are still a thing.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Can you believe it?
How the fuck, in 2017, do we still have Nazis? Got to be fucking kidding me.
I didn't think it was that big of a shot. Like I was like, of course there is. Still,
it's just
like everyone thought that was a lot smaller, like group. It's like whenever you made jokes, it's like Nazis are still like, yeah, but there's only like 4 people that gather in their
it's a guy with a shaved head and it's got
like my favorite meme of the side tangent to this whole thing was the week of it all, Charlottesville all happening, and then PewDiePie like puts out a video. He's like, I know I've been making fun and saying Nazi jokes for most of my YouTube videos, but I never knew they were actually real. Now I'm going to stop making Nazi jokes. And I was like, really, dude? Like, of course they were real. What do you think? They're only from movies? You watched Indiana Jones?
Well, we didn't think they were still around, or at least not in a massive force.
Oh, yeah.
So for someone who's been living under a rock, a couple of weeks ago, there was a protest, quotation marks, about a Robert E. Lee statue being taken down. Because in the South, they're taking a lot of the Confederate monuments down because it's all related to slavery and stuff.
Slavery.
Treason and whatnot.
So a bunch of white supremacists pretty much gathered together and had a big protest and got violent pretty quick.
Very violent.
Yeah. What are you guys' thoughts on this? This is...
I'll tell you... you go.
I was just going to say, you can go, but I just want to say, I love, every morning I wake up and the first thing I do is open Twitter, because it's like at least once a week, the first thing I'll see is either Donald Trump's done something or like some crazy shit like this happening. So, and this was a crazy morning because the first picture I saw was like those tiki torch photos with like those 3 dudes with the crazy like screaming faces and stuff like that. I'm like, good morning, America. Oh, let's go. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I know. Fucking scary. It's just the most like just disappointing, disgusting, disgraceful thing that's ever fucking like. We live in 2017 and there's still people out there that can do this. But you know what? The like obviously, like I just said before, there's racists in every country, every religion, every color. There's black racists, white racists, yellow racists, pink racists, purple racists. There's racists everywhere. Not the majority of people. I think the vast majority of people are pretty good. It's probably like 55-45, I think, across the world. There's the big chunk of the population who are fucking idiots and are bigots and racists, and there's a big chunk who aren't fucking idiots and aren't racist. And the problem is that there's a man in power who... So, all right. So, for the last 8 years, we had a guy in power, Barack Obama, in obviously in America, who is a guy who, he's a multicultural guy. He preached, good, peace, happiness, equality. He stood for, he didn't do a lot of, monumental, fantastic things as president, but he stood for something. He stood for what is good in people. He stood for hope. That was his big thing. I think there's always
something. It's like, when shit like this happens, it's like, I have problems with Obama, like especially stuff to do with like the war and like decisions he made in that part. But it's still like anytime like something this happens, you go, just put him back in. Yeah. No matter the amount of things you can just.
But that's what I mean.
I'll have him back for another.
What he stood for was that goodness, right? As a person, right? The kind of person he was a good person, and. What we have now is not a good person. What we have now in the most powerful position in the world is a man who stands for the, bigotry, racism, sexism, homophobia. Like he stands for not good, and he doesn't shy away from that. And what that does, and he'll fucking play it off as free speech and, you know, well, fuck, I'm just speaking my mind, I'm just saying how it is kind of thing. And this, like, he started his campaign saying, I'm going to fucking build a wall to fucking block out all the Mexicans.
Because they're dirty.
Yeah.
And they shouldn't be there.
And they bring crime and drugs.
That doesn't sound racist.
He's a fucking idiot. Anyway, so, but what the flow-on effect from that is that from the past 8 years, we've had a guy in power who stood for good and stood for, no, you can't be a fucking racist, and no, you can't be a fucking idiot. And people, the racists and the idiots, they kept quiet because the guy at the top and everything, and this goes for like businesses and everything, it starts at the top and it filters its way down. And the guy at the top was saying, no, don't be a dickhead. And so all the dickheads, well, fuck, we better be quiet then, everyone's going to think we're a dickhead. And now that there's a dickhead at the fucking top who's going, it's okay to be a dickhead, all the people down the bottom are going, huh, so this guy says it's okay to be a dickhead and he can be racist. Maybe it's okay. You know what? Maybe it's okay to be racist. Maybe there's nothing wrong with me. Maybe it's my freedom of speech. Maybe it's my right to hate black people and hate gays and be a fucking idiot. And it's just so sad. It's just so fucking sad. The whole time leading up to
the election, every time someone said something, anytime someone was like, it won't be that bad if he gets in, blah, 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 like nothing will happen, like people won't go crazy. And I would always just be like, hate breeds hate, man. Like, that's and like
he
like
was endorsed by the Ku Klux Klan. Another thing I can't believe is still a thing. But
David Duke was at this rally in Charlottesville, so
yeah, it's fucking sad.
Good old ex-Grand Wizard himself.
It is fucking.
And he was
sad.
there at the rally thing, and of course he did dropped Donald's name. Donald Trump got voted in, and we're just here doing what Donald wants us to do. Donald goes, I never asked him to do that.
I remember,
but gives big old thumbs up anyway.
Yeah. Like I remember like I think it was either early this year. Whenever that fucking asshole, what's his name? The neo-Nazi American dude, the young guy, got punched in the head the other few months back.
His name, but yeah, no, there was that video.
Yeah, that fucking asshole. So that happened, right? This guy got punched in the head. And there
was like, don't punch people.
Yeah, people were like, and I was sort of at the time, I was like, okay, the guy's a fucking Nazi, but like, you know, is that really what we want to be? And like, is that how we fight the bad people, is by punching them and throwing violence? And I was sort of torn on the idea because I'm like, fuck, it must feel good to punch a Nazi in the head. But is violence like is that the answer? Are you just as bad as them by punching that dude in the face? He was not being violent, he was not doing anything. Yes, he's a fucking idiot, but is that the right way? And I was sort of torn at the time. And now I'm like, fuck it, punch a Nazi.
Yeah.
Like, if you get the opportunity, you see someone with that fucking swastika flag, you punch that motherfucker in the face. You don't hesitate. You just punch him. I swear to God. If I see someone with a fucking swastika, I'll fucking wham.
I would like to remind our listeners that is assault and is a crime in most places around the world.
Does not promote assault.
Which is the hard thing to distinguish, because obviously when we last fought the Nazis, it was in a war where violence was acceptable. But yeah, it's kind of difficult. Bit difficult now.
Yeah.
The other question I want to ask is, are they really Nazis? I mean, is it like champagne where it's only...
Is it sparkling wine or is it champagne? Are they just fucking idiots, or are they actually Nazis?
Everyone's been asking this question because they're like, well, you know, Nazis was like a very specific thing. Maybe we just should call them racist, which is what they are. But then it's like, well, what's Nazis boiled down to? It's like, really, it's just a bunch of like... It was a bunch of really racist people that got together and basically started a militia type thing. And I mean, isn't that what happened here, basically?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, the Nazi Party, this is the thing, right? So you can get into it on a political level, and the Nazi Party was not just based on like... So the thing is that there's a lot that went into it as far as like the socialism aspect of it and the politics of it. But the fact of the matter is that symbol and that name and what that represents is hate. And that's what it means. So there's a lot, as far as political wise and that kind of thing, there's so much more into it than just that. But what it stands for and what it symbolizes is hate.
And it's very easy to understand if you say to someone like, they're a fucking Nazi, they automatically go, yeah, I know what that means. Like, if you're like, oh, they're a bit racist. Oh, they're a little bit racist. Maybe they're okay. Like, maybe they're just on the fringe of a little bit racist, and you know, we can just talk them down from that racism train. But if you're like, oh, they're a Nazi, it's like, no, I understand. They're on their full train off in the other direction. Get the fuck out of town. Now, Nazis, similar to if you're going to ask the question of are Nazis okay? No, Nazis not okay.
Nazis not fucking okay.
It's so funny, these topics, because I find that people try to be. I mean, I understand to a point, but it's like that whole thing of like, we just got to be able to understand people's different points of view and all that.
Yeah, try and be
like
diplomatic about it.
There's no
fucking black. There is no grey area.
Middle ground.
No, there is no middle ground with a Nazi. You're you're either a Nazi piece of shit or you're not.
Yes, exactly.
It's pretty simple.
Yes. There's no middle ground. It's like, well, you just got to understand their point of view. What's their fucking point of view? Like,
oh God.
And
and then we have the fucking this orange fucking dickhead making excuses for these people, and but the other side were violent as well.
They were. There was violence.
They were, but the other dudes were Nazis. It's not like. Well, they were violent and they were sort of yelling at each other and they're both to blame and right. It's like, well, yeah, one was violent, but the other one was fucking Nazis. So it's like, I mean, you kind of got to be, right? Like, you kind of, if you're going to get fucking fisty, you want to fucking be fighting someone, you might as well fight a fucking Nazi. I mean, let's be honest.
I mean, here's how the two sides work. So you got one side that's basically on camera, in interviews and stuff, all walking around saying, we're sick of the scum, and the majority of them are talking about black people when they say this.
Yeah,
we're
they
sick
also
of
threw in
scum.
Jewish people I've seen, so just to throw that out there.
I mean, they're referring to, they're talking about, but the majority of the ones I saw were like straight up, they would say the N-word and stuff, which I'm not going to repeat, but that seemed to be the majority go-to at the moment for some reason. I don't know, maybe, is it because there's a high percentage of, I mean, I don't know American statistics.
I don't know, I think they're just racist.
Yeah, I mean, they're just racist. But they're so you got one side that's like, we've got the scum, they've kind of taken over the area too much, and, we're just kind of sick of it, and we want to take back our town, we want to take back our country, we got Donald Trump in president now, and we reckon it's about time to clear the scum off the street, and we've got weapons, and we're prepared to go to war if necessary. And you got the other side kind of just being like, well, we don't really want that. And I mean, I don't know how you pick a side. I mean, what do you mean? How do you pick a side?
Yeah.
I want to wipe the scum off the earth. Who's the scum? Anyone but white people.
Stupid thing is about these. Do you know the stupid thing is about these people is that the Nazi Party was started because of, and their attack on the Jewish people was a result of the perception being given that the Jewish people were keeping the Aryan race, the white Nazi, the white German down, and they were taking all the money and they were taking all the jobs and that kind of thing. That was all their whole thing. It's like, oh, the Jews, they're stealing all their money. They're keeping us down. And it's like, now they're like, oh, we're Nazis, and it's the black people. It's like, the black people are the oppressed, you idiot. You're the one that's fucking above, like, you're in the, you've got the privilege, you've got the stature, the societal sort of whatever you want to call it, upper ground as far as what you're not what's the word I'm looking for, like the advantages that you have in society. Like, you're the fucking white man in a fucking racist state, not the fucking black man who it's probably hard for him to get a job because of the color of his skin, and he gets fucking looked at sideways when he catches the bus, and he walks into a shopping center and people sort of like step out of his way.
If you're ever listening to this show and you're like, oh, I only saw what was on Twitter and Facebook, surely it's not that bad, surely they weren't actually saying this stuff, I highly suggest, the best thing I've watched on it still at the moment was that half-hour Vice HBO special. It's online somewhere. I believe it's just put out for free. It was just on YouTube, and that's how I watched it. I'm pretty sure it's on the Vice YouTube channel. Half-hour special. This girl follows... she follows the Nazi side the entire time. She's with them. So you see a couple of interviews towards the end. How
would you feel about getting that job?
I mean, she does a fucking fantastic job because she stays. If I had to stand there interviewing, they interview that bald-headed fucking piece of shit who's like now on the run and like was in that video like crying over getting pepper sprayed, like this dude who's been all over the internet lately. I can't remember the dude's name, but she interviews him a lot. Giant cunt, massive, just go die in a hole. He's at one stage, she's in his hotel room. Like, she first interviews him in the park, and he's like, yeah, you know, like, I see this black dude on TV, like, you know, like, he's a piece of shit, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, he's just saying that out loud. Like, it's like, you know, when you hear people say stuff that you're like, you're actually saying out loud what your racist mind says, and you don't usually hear people actually say it out loud. And then she's in his hotel room later, and this is the fucking best part. This is after the car, like the person got killed by running into a car, and she's like, so someone died today. He's like, yep. And he starts going through all his guns. He's like, I've got an AK on the bed there, an SR-47 lock over there. I've got a handgun here. He's like pulling out 16 guns all over the place. He's like, I don't know. He's got knives, fucking fuck off weapons everywhere. It's like, America. But then she's like, so do you think it's good that one person died? He's like, well, I think we did pretty good to only have one person die. She's like, what do you mean? Like, it's pretty good that only one person died. He's like, I think we was pretty restrained on our side. Actually, it just shows how good we are that we didn't kill any more people, and we was prepared to kill more people if necessary. And this is just a sign of the lengths that we're like willing to go if necessary. And she's like, so what do you reckon comes after this? And he's like, well, we'll just gather back, get to work, and start work on the next idea. But this should show everyone in the world that we're here and we're ready and we're willing to do what's necessary. I'll die for this shit if necessary, and I'm willing to kill people if necessary. It's like, wow, dude, you just like this is on TV, like this.
What a fuck.
Wow.
What I love is the people who have come out and said, "Oh, I didn't know what I was part of." I did.
You're as
How
ignorant.
can you not
and
know what
shit
you're
you are.
part of?
Yeah, I know.
Imagine like the dude like standing at the back of like the Nazi rally back in the day, like, oh, I didn't know that's what was doing. Like, we was gas chambering, was we? Oh dear, whoops! Oh, never knew.
Oh, God.
Fuck me! It's like the one stormtrooper at the back of Hux's rally in Star Wars: The Force Awakens, like, we bring to the First Order. The what now? Sorry.
Yeah, I was very much
thing.
thinking that this is the First Order and the Nazis are the Empire.
Yeah, this is the Nazis are the original, like Sidious's people. This is the First Order version, smaller and everything. But yeah, fuck Nazis. Fuck anyone who I've talked about who's a Nazi, and if you're a Nazi, fuck off. And
I think the worst thing is that anybody who's even slightly in that direction, in their line of thinking, has been grouped with them. So even
look, I think if
you're slightly conservative in America, it seems you're being grouped with the Nazis.
You can be a little bit bigotry. You can have like a little bit of bigotry in you, and like you'll find you often meet a lot of people. You know, you meet those random people who drop like slightly racist remarks, but they're not actually racist.
Like the old lady in the pub.
The old lady. She's
the dark one.
Most likely not actually racist, right?
Yeah.
Just dropping little remarks like that doesn't actually make you a proper quote unquote racist or anywhere close to being a Nazi. It's just being bigotry, having some bigotry in you. And unfortunately, a lot of people are still like that, and there's like such a high percentage of people like that still. But no, that does not make you a Nazi. That old lady is not a Nazi. That doesn't mean what she says is okay. Like, I'm not saying it's okay. It's not okay. But it's a lot different to wanting to kill and wipe out fucking non-white people off the street. Like, it's a huge difference.
Definitely.
But yeah,
Nazis, man, ruin everything.
Man.
Hate him.
So
not video games.
Yeah.
Still fun to shoot.
Yeah, killing Nazis. Nothing
Man.
more satisfying than a video game, I don't reckon.
Man, Far Cry 5. It's going to be really interesting to see the reaction of that. So the last story I wanted to cover today is the H3H3 legal case, which came to a resolution this week. If you don't know, H3H3 is a YouTube channel. They do reaction videos and sketches and stuff.
Podcast.
Podcast.
What's a podcast?
The
No,
H3H3 podcast.
Yeah, it's got quality content, unlike some shows. They
That Four
made
Yanks one Aussie. Oh, shots fired. Just kidding.
Love you, NATO,
Love you, Sam, Connor, Andrew.
and the other one.
My boys. They're my boys.
Yes, for
Elmer.
Elmer, he's very good, very funny. Yeah, they made... So back last year and a half ago, they made a video about the bald guy, who's another YouTuber who does some sketches and stuff. They made a reacts video pretty much making fun of him. And he hit them with a copyright strike or whatever. And pretty much took him to court for defamation and illegal use of his content and stuff like that. And it's been a massive lawsuit that's been played out over YouTube and stuff. I mean, a lot of big YouTubers came on H3H3's side, like Philip DeFranco and Boogie and PewDiePie and stuff. It was a big case in fair use. So it finally got resolved in H3H3's favour this week. So I just wanted to get your guys' thoughts on the issue. 'Cause it's like,
it was a really big story back in the day.
Yeah.
Because of course it was for YouTubers, because it basically boiled down to the fair use thing. It was like, well, if they lose this case, YouTube is fucked.
Yeah. React videos,
That's
go
what
on.
it boiled down
Let's play
to.
videos,
Yeah.
go on.
Yeah. So everyone who's like, why is this such a big deal? Like some random YouTubers win a case. Ethan and Gila winning this case wasn't just a win for them. It was basically a win for all of YouTube, because it kind of stuck in stone that fair use is fine.
Yeah.
And it was a win for like American law in particular, because like it was their fair use. Australia's fair use is a bit different. Different countries have different uses for fair use. But so their videos, most of their main videos, if you've never watched H3H3, is they'll do a reaction video, but it's like a bit more drawn out. It'll go for long. It's not like they just sit back, watch, react. It's like they'll pause, talk about it. They may record like a little 30-second skit part to like insert in it. And they basically often pick on really people that deserve it for the most part, to be honest. Like really, really bad. Like they pick on a lot of that dude who like got caught making fake videos, like setting up. There was that one where it's like they had like black people. It's like, black people, like the Donald Trump. Remember that one?
Yeah,
the Donald Trump. Yeah, so they pick on that dude. They pick on this like a pickup artist quite a lot. Like, I'm gonna show you how to like make out with girls on the beach, and he like goes out and he's like, hey mom, hey girl, how are you? Can I make out with your mom? And like make like really cringy, terrible content on YouTube. They basically make fun of.
Yeah.
And it's funny. I mean, they use the people's videos, but if you've ever watched one of those videos, it's so obvious. Like, if you should be able to watch a video and just go, that's fair use. It's obviously fair use. Like they're commentating on it. They're using it for comedic value. They're reporting on something technically, because a lot of the time, a lot of the videos they present, a lot of people don't know about. So easily covered. If they had lost this case, I totally do believe that YouTube would be fucked. A lot of people probably would have ran from YouTube, because YouTube's been in a lot of trouble lately with takedown notices for random shit, the
demonetization problems,
demonetization stuff, like all this sort of stuff going. If they had lost this case, YouTube would have been on a very fast downhill track to just being over, I think, and another video service would have had to come in. That's honestly how big of a deal I think.
I think it's a good, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, as far as what we've been talking about earlier, obviously it's not, a massive thing, but I think it's just a good, it's a good sort of event. Like, it's a good thing to happen, right? It's a very sort of, it's just like, okay, it's set a precedent that, yep, this is okay and this is okay, and it's just like, okay, cool. It's stopped that, like, it stopped a chain of events that could have been very, very bad for a lot of people, us included. A lot of our friends that do content, do this kind of media, people that we watch and are fans of, it would be a big problem for a lot of people. So I think it's just a good thing. It's sort of like, oh, perfect. All right, we can just sort of, everything can keep rolling as is and is okay. Because the alternative to that could have been very problematic for a lot of people, and a lot of people's like incomes and stuff as well. So we're already seeing the trend of people moving away from YouTube and doing a lot of stuff on Twitch and live Twitch. Twitch has gone from being just podcasting and just games and stuff, to people doing their podcasts on it, doing live shows, doing, fucking painting and talking and fucking whatever live on Twitch. And because YouTube is making it harder and harder to make a living basically from it for their content creators. So it's good that this has happened, just because it would have been, I think it would have been really bad for YouTube, in that it would have, like you said, Dylan, it would have created a chain of events where it's like, okay, cool. Every other corporation, Fox, Sony, Nintendo, Microsoft, every publisher out there can go, beautiful.
Yeah.
Who's got our content? Who's got it? Who's
videos, let's plays?
Who's using our and they'll go to every single one of them and they'll get, here's a cease and desist, and for all the videos that you've done before, we want to cut of that. And it would have been catastrophic. So I think it's just a good,
or for stuff that was critical of them, they could say, no, take that down. Is what they could have done.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, that's even a bigger, yeah. I mean, I don't feel like, I mean, the court case was mainly on the use. It was like, too like closely recreated my content kind of thing.
Copyright infringement.
The argument is that if they, in a magical world where they'd used this guy's content and made a video saying how great of a YouTuber he is, he probably wouldn't have tried to sue them for.
No. And you can tell it was such a wank thing, because he asked for was like an apology and $4,000, or like a retraction video and $4,000. Like that's what he asked for instead, and they're like, no, fuck off.
Yeah.
So
you gotta stand up for this sort of shit. Like you can't.
Yeah.
Like if they just rolled over.
And imagine that if they're like, yeah, no, fuck, all right, just keep him quiet. He's $4,000, fuck off. It would have been, it's nothing to them. Like they spent 50 grand. They spent 50 grand
like 50 grand. Yeah. They had to crowdfund for some of the money.
Which they got like 3 times more than what they spent. But
yeah, because like Philip DeFranco people did like stories and was like, if you've got the money to spare, help them out, because this is like a really big deal to YouTube. So,
but it would have set a really bad precedent if they had rolled over and just been like, fuck, give this guy $4,000 to fuck him off, whatever. Then how many other people go, I'm going to go and ask for fucking $5,000 now and see what I can get out of this YouTuber.
Every other person they ever did a video on shit talking, like, or making fun of, all of a sudden they're all like, well, where's our $5,000?
Yeah.
Where's our, take down our video?
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah.
As opposed to everything else we've been talking about for the last hour, this is one for the good guys. This is one back for the good guys. It's just kept
good news for once.
Yeah, it's kept the status quo. It's just everything can continue to roll on, and there's been no disturbance in the force. It's just everything can continue to move on smoothly. We're all good.
And I'm very happy it was this video that was the one that had to set a precedent. Have you watched Dylan? You've watched the original video?
Yeah.
Yeah, where he's talking about mayonnaise and a camera up the ass. So. Yeah. A judge had to watch that.
Yeah,
the judge being the judge being like, them. What the fuck am I doing?
The judge
here?
owed them in court. I don't have like the quotes in front of me or whatever, but wasn't the judge just basically like, this is so obviously fair use, just fuck off, like
pretty much. Apparently, the attorney for them, I've got a great quote here. He said, "Plaintiff must realize he cannot treat well-settled law and undisputed facts like the women in his videos. They will not change simply because plaintiff is persistent and impervious to their hostility."
Got him!
Got him!
Got him.
Fucking dickhead.
Fucking pwned. Beyond. You got fucking beyond.
Ethan Hiller put up a video. They were very happy about the result. You can check it out on their
17 minutes if you want to watch them being very happy.
Breaking it down, laughing hysterically. And they also put the original video back up.
Like 2 hours after they got home from the court case.
Last I saw it was back over 10 million views. So great content.
Good for them. Good for them.
He was very... and it's monetized, so watch it.
Holy shit, is it really?
Apparently, yes. So
fuck.
Every view helps them to recoup some of the money they lost fighting this battle for the last year and a half.
I think they're fucking sweet. They got like 3 times what they needed from the GoFundMe. So
no, I'm pretty sure they put all that money aside in a trust for other people who.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, they wanted to help out in case other people had similar issues. They were making a big deal about it. Cool. They're good people, as far as I'm concerned.
Yes,
good people.
Very good. Well, I think that brings us to the end of this episode of Pleasure Explosion. Jack, where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me punching Nazis at Cruzy_mate on Twitter and CruzyMate on YouTube.
And what about you, Dylan?
Yelling at you in the face if you forgot to make sure you're able to vote for this stupid fucking plebiscite, and also just giving middle fingers to Nazis as I roll down the street, because I'm not a violent person. But fuck you, you fuckers. I'll yell. I won't punch. I won't touch. We promote yelling, swearing, and yelling out car windows here at Explosion Network. But,
The problem with punching is that gives them a
if you
right
go to jail and say that Jack Cruz told
Bus
you to do it,
wankers!
say Jack Cruz told you to do it, but don't say the Explosion Network promoted violence. Twitter, Vivaladil, Vivaladil.
I got the N in the end. You can follow me at Ashley Hobley, ASHLEYBLEY on Twitter. You can follow the show at Explosion Pod on Twitter. You can check out our Facebook. It's Explosion Network. Subscribe to the show on iTunes. It helps. Leave a 5-star review or a 4-star review.
Don't leave a
3-star
4-star review. If you're not, this is like the voting for the gay marriage thing. If you're not going to leave a 5-star review, don't leave a fucking review.
Actually, I think it's the opposite. Every vote counts. It helps.
I'll take any numbers. Give them.
Yep.
It's fine. I'll take it.
Yep. Yeah, that's about it. Thanks for listening.
Plat, plat, punch a Nazi.
This August on the Explosion Network. If you want more of this good stuff, check us out every week on podcast services and YouTube. Pleasure Explosion, the original Explosion pod, goes up every Monday. Our PlayStation podcast, Platinum Explosion, hits on Tuesdays. And we get into some sports discussion with grandstand gurus each and every Thursday. Make sure to keep up with explosionnetwork.com for all the latest content, including weekly stream schedules, reviews and reacts, plus our Game of Thrones reaction show, South of King's Landing. Plat plat.
Thanks for listening.
Plat, plat, punch a Nazi.
Fuck you, Donald Trump, for the fucking bullshit that you've done in the last 2 days.